A lot.
Welcome to The Bottom Line. My name is Scott Schweitzer. This is Kat Shear, and we have Brian Friend. We are going to talk about the West Coast Classic Day 2. Started off with a hot, dry ruck run this morning. Any thoughts on that, Brian? Didn't you take part in that?
Yeah, tested it the day before, and I think it was a great decision by the competition to have that early in the morning. Teams went at 6 a.m., individuals at 7, and for the most part were able to beat the heat.
Yeah. Some teams struggled with that. I think teamwork was an issue at some points, as the heat maybe had tested that a little bit. But we actually only had one team that actually finished.
Yeah, I think it's just a totally different event when you have to, you're tethered together the entire time, you're under a lot of weight, and you're dependent on the weakest link. So it's different. It's a different event for teams and individuals.
Yeah. Did you think transitions played a part?
I thought the event did a good job setting up the floor so that there was enough space. 1,500 meters will allow a little bit of separation. There was, a couple of bottlenecks, but for the most part, I thought it was well run.
Okay.
What did the zigzag do to you while you were running it?
It was a little downhill in one direction, so it actually was a mental benefit. So you could be like, just get up this hill, and then you got a downhill coming back, and you could use that to motivate yourself.
So what team finished?
The finishing team was Renewed Strength CrossFit. They're a team out of Texas. They didn't have a great day one, and that kind of propelled them, gave them a lot of confidence. It was a great way for them to start the day.
Okay. So then we move on to the individuals.
Yeah. Men and women went at the same time, so we got to sort of see head-to-head how people did.
Oh yeah, mass start events are always great because it just highlights the athletes in a different light. In this case, they had different weight rucks, but the sandbags were the same weight, and it's a weight ratio discrepancy for the women who on average weigh like 40 or 50 pounds less than the men. So
10 pounds.
so the men appeared to do better, but I still think relative to the weight that they had to move and their own body weights, it was a very impressive performance by the ladies.
Yeah, so what about the ladies and what was so impressive?
I mean, honestly, Bethany Shadburne was phenomenal, and for her it was a huge advantage that she didn't have to have a race to the finish. So she could kind of conserve her energy, coast in. She had a 90-second lead at second place, so she didn't have to kill herself when there were still 2 events left to go in the day.
Yeah, and by stark contrast, the men, that was a sprint to the finish. So tell us about that one.
That's right. James Sprague got off to a pretty quick lead and had a lead for a majority of the event, but there was a big pack chasing him down, and ultimately a couple veterans in Cole Sager and Sean Sweeney put some heat on him down the stretch. Cole ended up taking the win and a photo finish, really, and it's something that he's done before.
And I think you could tell the difference because with the men, there was carnage on the floor, grabbing for water bottles, ice, and Bethany did an interview with someone 2 seconds after she finished.
Yeah, her closure was great, and yes, the men had to fight for that, and that has a different effect on the body.
Yeah.
Okay, so event 2 of the day?
Event 2 for the teams. We brought out the big weights.
Oh yeah, 1 rep max clean and jerk. Different kind of format than we've seen in other competitions. So both men had 1 barbell on 6 minutes to establish a 1 rep max, 1 minute reset, and then the women had the same format.
Yeah, some individual things. There was someone from the St. Louis team.
Stephen Wallace.
Yeah, he hit what, 275?
Stephen Wallace went 385.
385.
It's actually only 2 pounds short of the live competition record for men's clean and jerk in CrossFit. And considering that he did that after a 6K ruck run, it's almost more impressive.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of rest either.
A couple hours, but I mean that's a grueling event and definitely taxes the body. He can clean and jerk over 400 pounds, but to hit 385 in that setting is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and there was a woman from CrossFit
Venture CrossFit.
CrossFit.
Amanda Fisher's her name. Yeah, she's very strong. I think she was
255.
Yeah, she hit 255, and I think that similarly she was very happy with that on the back end of that run.
Yeah, and it didn't look that difficult for her.
No, not at all.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, I was surprised. I saw some women 215, 220 power.
Oh yeah,
Holy moly.
There's some really strong women in the team competition, and often they kind of get lost in the shuffle because their scores are accumulated together. But definitely some impressive lifts across the board.
And so then we move to the individual competition, which was very different. It was a long chipper from 2017.
That's right, a triple G chipper. So 100 pull-ups, 80 GHDs, 60 pistols, 40 cal row, and then 20 heavy dumbbells. However, I think the dumbbells weren't quite as heavy as they appeared to be 4 years ago. No, and especially in the case of Spencer Panchik. I mean, this guy moved 20 dumbbells in 20 dumbbell shoulder to overheads where he has to advance every 5 in under a minute. And it actually coming from the second heat was good enough to best Matt Fraser's time from 4 years ago by 50 seconds and win the event.
By 50, you said 50, not 15?
That's right.
5-0.
Wow.
That's exciting. And then Bethany Shadburne, I think she went 70 pull-ups before she broke.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everyone would have expected Carrie Pierce to be the longest on the pull-up bar. Carrie got 59, I think she wanted 60, but got 1 no reps. Bethany stayed on until 70. She took the lead off the pull-ups and never relinquished it. She also beat the world record, which was previously held by Cara Saunders. It was much closer. She only beat it by 17 seconds, but both of those times were better than what we saw 4 years ago, which is, of course, kind of what we're doing this weekend, trying to see where the athletes have come from the last time we tested these.
Yeah, we're all
And that was the second straight win for Bethany.
Yeah, 2 event wins and a world record to start the day, so she's certainly riding a high with that final event win.
So, you look really invigorated this year. What has been the biggest change from last year?
Biggest challenge?
Biggest change.
Oh, challenge. I was like, challenge, not at all. I was saying, biggest change, I think, is just changing where I live and training who I'm training with. That's made the biggest difference. I think that's the one thing that I'm just kind of missing, the missing piece, but also you have to believe in yourself, right, at the end of the day. If you don't, then that's where you feel like.
Yeah, you definitely have some swag this year.
Thank you.
And you've had a great 2 firsts today. So you and Carrie are at the top of the leaderboard. Could have been any better?
It's super sweet. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better training partner, and to be at the top of her is amazing.
Thank you so much for your time. So Spence, you just smashed that workout. And I know that you're down in points a little bit, and every point counts at this point.
Yeah.
Are the brakes off?
No, the brakes aren't off. I mean, I've been through adversity a lot, and that's what this is. It's just coming back and fighting, and that's it. It's you can give up or fight.
Do you think you set the time to beat?
I think so, yeah.
What's your plan for the rest of the weekend?
Keep going, maintain, finish strong.
All right, man. Good luck. Yeah. So then we move to the final event for the teams, and it brought in the torque tank.
Yeah, so for the 3rd time in the semifinal season, we've had the torque tank. Again, a little different wrinkle and nuance. They actually had some dumbbells on it, and then the men removed their dumbbell for their workouts. The women's was a little lighter, but that added weight element is something we saw at the Granite Games, different version of it here. But the crux of this workout was all about the gymnastics.
Yeah, synchro toast bar.
Not
No,
synchro, so
oh,
this
was it? Someone
yeah.
had to hang from the bar. Yeah, explain that.
Yeah, they had to accumulate 80 chest to bars and then 80 toes to bars. The caveat was you never had a rest for your grip because while you were working, I was hanging, otherwise the reps didn't count.
And then it was overhead squats with the dumbbell?
Yeah, so ultimately the kind of race was on the overhead squats, and for the team, the second heat of the teams, it came down to Invictus and Invictus Unconquerable. And the Invictus Unconquerable team had a kind of ace in their sleeve in Taylor Ballack, who found out in 2017 when she did this event with a different team that she's great at this movement.
She went
And
full send.
Yeah, she took the majority of those reps, won the event for her team, and actually those 2 Invictus teams are within 3 points of each other with 1 day to go.
Wow.
And a very dramatic, aggressive finish, like we've seen that team before. A lot of emotion from the Invictus Unconquerable team. We love it.
Yeah, both Invictus teams are in a great situation, but that Blue City Athletic team is also within 5 points of the top spot, and they're. I don't think a lot of people were looking at them, but they're definitely very good as well.
And so we finish up the individuals with something exactly opposite of the chipper
And the Ruck.
and the ruck, and it is a
sprint.
full-on hit the gas sprint.
Yeah, and it was perfect programming. This is the type of event you want to end on a day that started with such a long event. And not only is it good for the athletes, but it's good for the environment. There were close races on both sides, so that's something the crowd can leave here feeling great about.
Yeah, on the women's side, it was a photo finish to see who won.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be one of the closest finishes we've ever had. It was Danielle Brannon and Danny Spiegel, both of whom have had their challenges this weekend, but both of whom should have been good at this event, and they were. Danielle got to the D-ball first, but Danny caught her on the last rep and nipped her by 0.3 of a second to take the event win. For Danny, that was massive because she was in 6th coming in, now she's in 5th in that gatekeeper position heading into the last day.
So Alison, you had a really good day today, this afternoon. How are you feeling going into Sunday?
Oh, I'm feeling so good. Just super grateful to be back here in competition, and I'm just really having a blast. It's been a really long year for all the athletes, but just time for me to develop physically and mentally, and I'm literally just enjoying every second of this experience.
Awesome. What's your plan for tomorrow?
Plan for tomorrow? Just keep on doing what I'm doing. You know, I've really been focused on my plans and kind of staying in my own lane and just maximizing my potential, because at the end of the day, that's all we can really do.
Did you do this workout before?
I did in 2017, and that was actually my best ever regional finish. So when they announced this one, I was like, yes, it was like that little confidence booster, and so I had a great time out there.
Do you think you set the time to beat?
We'll see. I know those girls are going to be fast in that last one, but we'll see what happens.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So after a rough start to the day, how does it feel to finish so strong going into the last day?
It has been just like a roller coaster for like a month, so that I like needed to end on a good note, just like mentality wise, you know.
So what are you going to do tonight to prepare for tomorrow?
Sleep, eat a lot of food. Tomorrow's a good day for me, so I just need to recover a little.
Thanks, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on the men's side, it was the same as the whole weekend, and that's Cole Sager.
Well, Cole Sager fended off a charge from several athletes in the last heat. He's got 70-point cushion heading into the last day, and is in a field that was very deep. He's emerged as the class of the field, but he didn't win the event. For the second time in the men's division today, the winning time came out as Heat 2, and in this case it was Brandon Luckett.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah.
and that actually put him in the top 5.
Brandon Luckett, just like Danny Spiegel, was in 6th entering that event, but now is tied for 4th heading into the last day. So both of those athletes are now in a game spot and riding a high off an event win to finish out day 2.
So Cole, you put together a pretty good weekend. I think I lost track of the number of wins you have now. How are you doing this with the newborn?
You know, it's a lot of focus. First off, like, you have to be very intentional, but it also takes an amazing woman behind a man to do anything successful, right? So,
So big props to Genesee.
I have to give a lot of props to Genesee. She is 100% bought in, and she makes a lot of sacrifices so I can get to do this. And yeah, we're definitely a team.
So do you do a lot of garage workouts now because of the kid, or do you?
I train in my garage 100% of the time. A lot of the training I do alone right now, and that's just a little bit because of the baby schedule. You know, we're kind of subject to that, so it's hard to train with people, especially coming off the back end of the pandemic. But you know, maybe that'll change on the road and I get out to Boston a little bit and train with the comp team crew or whatnot.
Awesome. So going into tomorrow, you got a nice lead. What's the plan for tomorrow?
Rest up tonight and just kind of keep doing the same thing. Don't change anything at this point. It's not. We don't need any superhuman performances. Just what we've been practicing, what we can execute on.
Gas pedal down and finish it off.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend. So before we let you go, Brian, any overall perceptions of the day?
A grueling day, but thankfully for the athletes, we're ending pretty early. So they should have a chance to recover tonight and come back tomorrow, and whether it's for the win, for the last chance qualifier, or for those last couple of game spots, there's good races across the board and a lot of athletes who have a lot to fight for in the final.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Always love your insight.
Pleasure.
For Kat Shear and Brian Friend, I'm Scott Schweitzer. This is The Bottom Line, and we'll see you next time.